All right, welcome to another episode of our podcast. Are we going to go with From A to Z and Aavegotchi Podcast? Are we doing this?
Let's. I like it. I like
All
the idea of
right.
a colon in a title. It feels official, and
Oh
then we can just
yeah.
start running with it.
I like it too cuz From A to Z is a very like general name, but then there's a
It's a
play
talk
there with the
show.
double A's and the triple Z's. There's a play. And then I
I
just
like
throw
where
it
your
in
head's at.
there with the secondary title and Aavegotchi Podcast.
Perfect. It
Yeah.
also doesn't narrow down the topics. Like if it's going to be a talk show and we're just talking about literally anything, A to Z works. So let's do it. Let's do it. I like it.
Awesome. There you go. We have a title. Um. All right. So I've got all my beverages here. I've got my last coffee for the day.
Mm,
It is
I
6
just finished
p.m.
mine.
I've got
Yeah.
my last cup of coffee for the day. I've got a glass of water. Gotta have my glass of water. And then I've got today's tea. What I went with is it's a toasted rice matcha green tea, medium caffeine.
Okay. I
It
have
does
little
taste like
experience with matcha.
rice.
Oh, that's not a selling point for me. That's not a tea selling point, but if it's got caffeine, you're still getting a little bit of value out of it, you know?
Oh, somebody popped in and left on us. Well, they saw cameras on and they were like, "Oh shit."
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm ready to do this. I did an upgrade video earlier. Just moved up to level 2 on my FOMO reservoir. I'm having a bit of FOMO actually, because now I'm like really calculating, and I'm like, I really want to get up. I want to get my reses up quicker.
All
And
right, so are we gonna start? We're gonna start right into build mode then.
let's talk
We'll
about
start.
build mode.
Start. All right. So you said you're at level 2. You're
Welcome
getting
back,
there.
side. Yeah, I've got a level 2 FUD
Yeah, what's up?
and a level 2 FOMO. We're just talking about building and harvesting. That's where we're starting this afternoon, this evening, this GM.
This GM. I'm gonna pull up a new window here. I'm only at level 1. I've got 2 parcels that are developed so far. My strategy is 2 harvesters per reservoir. Keep the reservoir leveled up 1 over the harvesters at all times.
Solid strategy.
My reservoirs are full. I haven't harvested. I haven't pulled anything because of the split, that spillover split, and like you said, the matic fee. So I'm just kind of blue balling it. I'm just letting it be there for a second, and I'll come get it when it's a higher level and lower spillover. It doesn't
Right,
really
right.
make any sense for me to, pull 1 of each thing out every day at a cost of half a matic or whatever. Like, get it later. You know?
um, I adjust my gas fees too. I noticed that the site suggested is
Me
really
too.
high, and if the network doesn't call
Yeah.
for it, I adjust down. But
I go to 8 mode every time. I feel best in 8 mode, so I just put it on aggressive, which is lower than site suggested, so it's all around win.
oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I always just hit it with like a 37, 38, just to like be not at the bottom but close enough. Um,
Yeah,
but no, I
that'll
feel
do
you
it.
on the reservoir. Like now that I have my FUD up and I'm going up with the FOMO, I'm not emptying till they hit 100%. So the alpha and the kek's kind of sitting there, but I am gonna rotate some alpha and kek into FUD so that I can get up quicker. I really want
Mm,
to get everything up to my altar level, and
yeah,
that way, yeah, that's kind of my strategy right now. So I am gonna rotate just to be able to build quicker right now.
I think that's actually probably the play. I scooped Keck and Alpha while they were low still, and FUD and FOMO had started, doing their thing. So I thought, I'm feeling a little priced out of these other 2. Let's just scoop the cheapies. I'm gonna need them eventually, and I think you might be onto something. Start selling that stuff for FUD, because FUD's where it's at right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, with building and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many
So
parcels did you just do your reasonable, or did you expand out to your humble as well?
I'm just doing the reasonable right now. So I
Okay.
surveyed one humble and I did not survey another humble, and I've got an interesting play on both of these. So the one humble, that I've surveyed, I'm not gonna tap it until I can build my reservoirs up to where I want them, which is either gonna be level 3 or 4 on a humble.
That makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, you don't want to go too high, but my altar is at level 4 in that humble, so I'm thinking I might want to go to level 4 with the reses, but maybe not. We'll see. Maybe I'll only go to level 4 with like whatever's like above average, because I think the
There's
pull on
another
that.
strategy. Yep.
Yeah, I think the pull on that was above average FUD and alpha. See, now I'm confusing them, but I had a couple. There was at least one in above average on that humble, and then 2 were above average on the reasonable. All right,
Nice.
Mr. Rust.
We have a special guest today. Do we
Special
have a
guest?
special guest today? Yes, your cat.
Oh yeah, Rusty. He can't help it. He just like as soon as I turn on the camera and start, he's like, "Oh, you're talking to the TV. That must mean that you need love. There's something
wanna
wrong
see
with
me."
you, human. You are talking to the TV.
They're
You
checking
need
on
help."
human. He's being weird again. I love that.
So yeah, I'm gonna build up the 4 reses first, and then I'm gonna drop my harvesters. And
You haven't even built him yet.
right, I don't have
I
anything on
probably
that
shouldn't
land.
have.
So I'm basically
probably
gonna
shouldn't
wait till I can like do that strategy, drop it all, and start building out, and not even open the floodgates until like it's built. And then on my other ones, so I've told you about this, but I'm gonna tell everybody else. This is a long-term plan. So on my other D8 roadside humble, I am waiting for the NFT displays, and they've talked about the fountains. And basically, I'm going to build up the altar on that one pretty high, maybe to level 9. But what I'll probably do is go up to at least level 3 with it, which is where I would want to harvest if I was going to. But
That's my goal.
yeah, so, but I'm going to make it a public use altar. And I'm going to have the wishing well fountain on it, where they're saying like people would be able to put Alchemica in as like a donation or whatever. And then they're also going to have I'm going to have the NFT display there. So I'm going to display some
Advertising.
NFTs, and it's a public use fountain altar, and then there's a little
I
tipping
love it.
fountain if you want to use it. So, and I'm not going to survey that parcel. I'm just going to sit on it like that. It's going to be like filled up with
Nice.
this other installation and not even surveyed. So
I love that.
that's kind of
That'll be fun.
yeah, that's.
Where
I
are
mean,
you
we'll
at
see.
in D8?
So there's like I would say it's a T crossroads, but it's an upside down T. Right in D8, there's an upside
North
down
side.
T intersection. Yep, and it's kind of like I'd say it's kind of catty corner to that black corner where we can't get yet.
That's probably totally helpful information. I just pulled this up. Got a
I'm
T.
right
Yep.
next
See what you mean.
to a Spacious owned by Ghosty Fever. We were chatting about that during the GBM. We were like, "Oh man,
Cool, you know
get
your
these-"
neighbors.
Yeah, I know my neighbors, so it's cool.
I ended up finding several spots where like I'd buy a parcel and talk to Hot Curly Fry, and he's like, "Hey neighbor, we're neighbors again." So I know I've got some friendly neighbors all around the Gotchiverse, and I'm stoked about that.
Nice, nice. You know what? I'm gonna crank my AC real quick. Be just a second.
I like the sound of cranked AC. I got a fan and windows right now.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
So yeah, I don't remember what call that was. Maybe it was a community call, maybe it was a DAO call, but they were talking about the wishing well or the fountain or whatever it was, where basically you'd be able to throw Alchemica into it like a wishing well.
Right, like a private vortex that goes to one specific address versus the public
That's what I was
vortex that
wondering
crosses.
about too. Is it an
It's just the same
in-game
mechanic.
pocket? It would be cooler if it's an
It's gotta
in-game.
be.
It'd be cooler if
do you
it's an
mean in-game?
in-game pocket and not. Well, that way the owner has to withdraw, not the user, because then
So the
somebody
user
could
doesn't
throw
have to pay
in.
their gas.
Exactly. The user could
I like
literally
that.
throw in like 5 FUD, you know. It's
I
nothing,
like that.
but you throw in, you know, 100 people throw in 5 FUD, you got, you know.
Sounds like that would be the way to make it work then. My initial thought was just take the code, copy and paste it, change the address, you know, instead of depositing it into the overall big contract address, just dump it into your personal address. But I like that pocket idea. People are going to be more apt to donate knowing that they don't also have to pay gas to donate.
Exactly.
Can't say I blame them.
And especially because if the people that you would want to throw into the wishing well are the people who just used your free altar, then it would probably be scholars and people that, you know, wouldn't want to spend that gas fee also. So the more in-game you can do, the better. And then that way it's on the landowner to make that withdrawal. And then hopefully it's a fat enough pocket, you know, even if it's just the normal 250, that's whatever.
That's
you know.
plenty, yeah.
It's plenty. So you just leave your
If you
wishing
hear
well there.
details,
Yeah.
If you hear updates on that, let me know. Was there any date that you heard floated for?
No,
NFT
this was
displays?
one of
'Cause
those
that's
like
what I'm waiting on.
lofty
obviously.
ideas. Yeah, the
Gotcha.
NFT display. No, that's probably
My whole strategy revolves around the
closer.
NFT displays, so I'm like hesitant to even build out my parcels, knowing that, well, shit, if this is in the wrong spot, I got to spend half to move it. I'm nervous, so I've kind of left anything that's like right up against the road empty, or you know, pull up a decoration, no big deal. But if these things end up being like 3x3, that messes up a lot of stuff. I'm hoping they're 2x2, or there are different displays, because there was in the Bible at one point like an NFT display A, B, and C, and I'm hoping that means they're different shapes where you can do like a square, a portrait, or a landscape. But
I don't remember this.
I just need details on all that. I need
Sure.
NFT display details because I've
No,
been
me too. I
gobbling
want
up
2 of
art.
them.
It's fun to do bad things.
I want 2 of them, so hopefully they're not too expensive. And hopefully by that point we've got that credit card swipe feature because
I hope not. It's going to be the end of Gotchi Gang. We're all going to end up broke, and like we are 100% in the Gotchiverse only, living on the streets using McDonald's Wi-Fi, channeling.
Yep. I need 2 NFT displays, and the one wishing well is fine. Like I said, it's going to go there on the land.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the other
That could
thing
be a
about
cool
the
feature.
size. I put the altar directly in the middle, so the size could start to be a problem if those displays and fountains are too big. I may have to. I haven't leveled up that altar at all, so it wouldn't hurt to tear it down if I had to. So
Yeah, I don't mind moving to level 1. I don't even really mind moving to level 2. I'd rather not, but you know, it's only a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, that's all I've got for strategy at this point. Wait for NFT displays and
Res
don't
is
waste
over
money on
Harvey's.
spillover. Yeah, exactly. We got a bunch of people in here though. I'm curious if there's anyone who wants to share their strat or part of their strat, because we're all just trying to figure this out.
Hello,
Hey, how's it
Hey there.
going?
GM guys, thanks. I was listening to you, and you were talking about the position of your buildings on your parcels, and that you were worried because of the size of the NFT displays, 2x2, 3x3, and how you wanted
Yes.
to put all together. But you know you are going to be able to move your buildings soon.
I know that you can move them, and I do know that it is free to move the decorations and the tiles and things like that. But what I'm worried about is, like, I've put down harvesters and reservoirs that go
You
all the way
can
to
move
the
them too.
edge. You can move them, but you have to pay half. You know, you only get half of your alchemica back when you
No?
destroy it, and you have to rebuild.
No.
No, that's just temporary, man. They're gonna implement
No.
it.
You can already
Ooh.
interact with the contract and
They
do
are
it by
correct.
yourself.
I
And
think you
there
can
is
do
no
it in
UI
Looper,
to
right?
it.
Right now, maybe.
Oh, really?
So it just
Actually, I don't
pulls it
know if
off
you
your
can do it with
parcel.
Looper yet. I'm not
No,
sure.
you can do it. You can do it. I did it. You can do it. Someone show me how to. You can do it, but you have to interact with the contract by yourself. And I think they told that the feature will be in the Gotchiverse soon, as I say. So you
I
don't
knew
know
that
when, but
part. Yeah.
I love that news. Appreciate that. That was off my radar, and I'm just looking at like,
you're
oh my
welcome.
gosh, all this money I gotta burn moving stuff. You should watch me play Minecraft. It's like you do it and you undo it, and you do it and undo it, and you do it and undo it, and you get through 16 or 17 iterations before you finally go, that'll work. If I have to do that in this game, I'm gonna go broke fast. So I gotta like plan this stuff out, or wait for the wonderful move for free feature. Love that. Love that.
Nice. So yeah, anybody else want to throw out a little strategy? What you're thinking?
Nah.
Cool. Well, the next thing on the menu, district DAOs. How's everybody feeling about district DAOs?
I think it's gonna really complicate stuff, but I'm looking forward to it.
I have a little different take than, I guess, Hardcore and WagMe. I like their ideas. I think they could be combined, but I think we should focus on making the district DAOs essentially a political aspect of the game. So, like, imagine that you have, like, a council that's elected every few months. I was thinking 3 or 4 months to make it, not so locked in, whereas 6 months would be like, oh, election time, same people win. Let's move on. But I'd like to see, like, campaigns and essentially maybe some incentives, like a small percentage goes to these council people of I'm thinking that
Interesting.
some alchemica in the district, like a small percent, should be redistributed to landowners in the district, and also land is your voting power in the district to elect these council people.
I wonder if that can be modified by district, where each
I'm not
district
sure.
could be governed slightly differently.
Yeah, so like I was thinking you could set these taxes so your district is a little more appealing. We'd have to have like some upper and lower limits, I guess, to make it not like charging 30%, 20% to like scholars who are farming, But I think it'd be quite interesting. And then basically the council's people's job would be to use their percentage that goes to the district DAO or whatever to upgrade things like roads and light posts. So like roads you could upgrade and give more movement speed in your district. Light posts you could upgrade to maybe deal more damage to liquidators when they're invading, stuff like that. Maybe there's some town hall thing. I don't know. That's
You're
pretty
onto
much
a lot
as
of
far.
interesting things here.
That's as far as I've been with it, but I think it could be interesting. I play like Civilization 6 and there's a lot of like conquering and stuff like that. So I think adding a political layer to things would be really cool.
Where are you posted up? Where's your biggest, if you don't mind sharing, like what's your home district?
I ran by your parcel the other day.
I'm in
Harambe.
I shotgun my pits all over the place. So I have a decent bit in 15, but my biggest parcels are in 21. I just have 2 spacious there.
Is that where your flex parcel is?
Yeah.
Nice. 21. All right, cool. I just scooped. Oh man, yesterday there were some bizarre deals for reasonable plots. I missed it by a couple hours, but things were going for under 100 ghosts, and I got 2 roadside reasonables, both roadside, both next to each other, playable Daps Gallery and the neighbor, 115 ghost each. Scoop those. So I'm up in 21 now. We'll be friends. We'll be neighbors.
Yeah, I think it's a good district because that rainbow section. I just thought there'd be a lot of spillover over there.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, and
but
if
I mean
bubble ups too.
Maybe not if they low rolled all their surveys and stuff. But the bubble ups was the other part.
Is that still in play? Was it just kind of a ideation stage, or was that actually going to happen, bubble ups?
I think it's going to happen. I don't know when or how soon. Pretty sure it's like for sure though.
That could bring some value back to boosties.
Yeah, some of them kind of need it.
Some of them need it. I saw a FUD and FOMO boosted reasonable sell for 94 or 95 ghost yesterday. That's unreasonable. Wish that was me.
That's unreasonable.
Missed that one though.
I mean, to be fair, like we kind of should have known going in, but I don't think any of us like ran the numbers and stuff at that much. Like some people said, they're not as worth it, but there's also the consideration that the first roll is 25%, and the next rolls are 8.3. So if Al doesn't crash and burn, then the next roll could be a lot better.
Interesting. So is it 25% for the first round or for the first act?
Round.
First round.
Interesting.
And all rounds afterwards are 8.3.
All remaining
9
rounds. And then no more ever.
Correct.
And then people are going to move to the grid and try to farm the grid, and they're going to have liquidators and just baddies from the wild messing up their shit. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to tackle that when it comes to bots. I mean, I know they could limit the supply of liquidators with the liquidator credits, but I was worried, it's like if your enemies are somebody, you could go grief their parcels all the time. So maybe they have like a cooldown on destroying stuff.
The cooldown is just you've emptied their reservoir and now there's nothing left to empty, so you come back when it's empty. The cooldown is just your reservoir timer.
Yeah, that makes sense, but can't you? I would imagine you could do some damage like to walls and to maybe installations.
There was
a talk. Need repairs.
Right. I know for sure that they don't remove, they can't completely destroy a thing because it is still all blockchain based. So they can't completely destroy a harvester, for example, so that you'd have to rebuild it because you still own it on the blockchain. So you might have to repair it, like you said, but I don't think they'll be able to remove permanently anything.
So
Even the
I thought of something
you can
interesting.
mess the decorations up, but you can't delete them.
I don't think you can mess the decorations up. I think the decorations are basically invincible. You can kind of keyboard your way through them, but for the most part, Dan already said, you can't destroy them. So they might be better than walls if you can afford it.
I don't think I'm pretty sure it's going to become easier to move through them because right now I've tested it. If you have 2 layers, I did it with globes, for instance. If you have 2 layers of them, you can't wiggle through. It's hard as
right.
I don't know. I found it really impossible.
It might be different once spookiness is released. It might definitely change that. But right now, if you surround,
if you can walk right through them.
Yeah, depending on your spooky level.
Right.
Yeah.
He said don't rely on it basically to block stuff. I think you should just get walls.
That makes sense.
Spend that out.
Speaking of those globes, by the way, if you ever decide you'd like to get rid of a few of those, I'm looking for a few of them.
Okay. I have a few extra.
Not 10% of the supply, But half dozen maybe.
Just 1% of the supply.
I got you.
Yeah. Cool.
No future, apparently. I heard someone sent me to the Twitter space, I guess, something with Hefe. And in the end, he was talking about smashing globes and stuff.
That's kind of why I was still thinking about the damage potential on the decorations because he wanted to smash stuff up. I don't know if that had been written or anything like that, but he was looking forward to it. It's funny. What do you want most out of a district DAO? What do you want to be able to do to your district? Regardless of district, what is the thing that's most important to you to get out of a district DAO?
Ooh. Well, okay, so going back for a second, because that's an interesting question because, are we going by the assumption that the district DAO is in control of the spillover? What are we calling?
I don't know.
Because that's kind of how it came up in the most recent iteration was kind of what are we doing with spillover? Where is it going? And then it became kind of a conversation of should district DAOs...
What if the DAOs decide?
Right.
Yeah. So let's just assume that they do. For ease of conversation, let's assume that each DAO can control their spillover mechanics within their own district. Is that your most important? That's your top priority?
I mean, I guess it definitely changes the idea behind it because when we first heard about, district DAOs, it was kind of well, where's the funds coming from? And now it's kind of well, we know where the funds are coming from. So And then it's actually interesting because then districts that don't have as many alters or reses, then those districts will actually naturally be like low weight. Like they won't have a lot of people. They won't have a lot of funds to do anything either. So I guess it depends on some things because we've talked about the street lights. We've talked about transportation, like public transportation systems. Some of that stuff would be interesting. I guess it's also a matter of what would we be able to do quickly as opposed to like more and more dev time.
Quick stuff, easy stuff. Repair the potholes, change your street lights, easy UI things. I guess that makes sense.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I do envision us, like, personally, I want to see, like, skills, basically, like mining, like, enchanting, stuff like that, come to the Gotchiverse. So I
Like
think
an
there
RPG.
could be, yeah, so I think there could be, like, public workstations, that could be upgraded for these types of things.
Nobody has said anything about NPCs as DAPs for a long time. And that is a game changer. A literal, like, shape of your game changer. Where if we can input our own NPCs, that's more than just an installation, That's like, you're building the world at that point. You're building the social sphere,
That's true.
the gameplay.
You could set up like GTA type quests even as like, a guild or a district DAO. Like that could be something right there. Like, but
Or personal bounties. Hey, I need 50 FUD. If you go get me 50 FUD, I'll give you, XP or whatever, however that works. There's got to be a way to set up like essentially a vending machine on your parcel, or even reverse vending machine, a reward for dropping off stuff that you need without having
this
to go
is
get it
another
yourself.
interesting question. So will district DAOs only be able to use spillover in the Gotchiverse, or will you actually be able to pay devs to develop things for your district? Because and if so, like, will you have to pay them in Keck? Like,
Interesting. I guess we have to keep it in like a mindset with the filter of it's all going to be on chain. Coderdan
Well,
did say he
definitely,
wants it to
definitely
all
that.
be very like not a snapshot thing, but all on chain coordinated. So my gut says it's going to be limited at first to the things like you said, just the UI based. What do you want your lights to look like? Do you want us to fill these empty squares or not?
Well,
Basic stuff.
the reason I
I
say
hope
that
it
is
becomes
because
more robust.
you can spend Alchemica on craftable things like streetlights and whatever. But the assumption there would be that Pixelcraft would still have to make those things. Whereas you get into these quests that involve NPC bots, then like that, if a district DAO is going to pay for that, it's going to have to be, like, will they be able to do it in Alchemica? And if so,
I think there's.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I think there should be a separation between like a treasury and public works type stuff.
Right.
Like treasury could be something that could reward the landholders in the long term. Then there's like a strict, separate thing that's just for stuff like roads.
And it becomes more blurry where it's basically a whole district controlled by one guild.
It's going to be interesting to see how the different districts kind of shape themselves, because like you had said before, it could be a political thing, it could be an economic benefit, like Harambe's saying. There could be a lot of differentiations and ways to differentiate once the DAOs can become unique locations.
Well, that's one reason I want to give land this voting power too, to elect people, because then we're like, land is taking a beating. We all seen this, especially with the meta changing to going like taller instead of wider. Like I have 30 something parcels and I can build on one of them barely, So I think we do need to like look at ways to increase the utility of it.
I agree. Landholders have been holding the bag of no yield for whatever, it's been a couple months since the land was released, And now that we're getting into it, we're finding, oh man, you got to spend a lot of money to turn this yield up. Like you really got to invest time and and Alchemica.
That makes me want to
Glitter.
check back on our friends Ernest and Think Decade, because one of them owns a gotchi and the other owns land. And when everything first launched, they were like, "What can we do?" And I was like, "Y'all better make friends because
That's right.
y'all are gonna need each
Link
other."
to each other.
So I wonder where they
It's
are
true.
now with this. I'm gonna have to check in on them.
I do wonder if we could have something like I know land rarity farming was proposed. I think
It's
some
got to
way
be
of
coming.
integrating these districts into it, make your district more appealing with these public works, like adding to the score of the district would be interesting.
I like that. How much
But
has
I don't
been
know.
invested in your district? Here's your reward for investing in the Gotchiverse.
Yeah, we'd have to do a lot of balancing probably, though. It'd be kind of gameable at first. You just pumped a lot of funds into it.
Yep. We also have to keep in mind there's like 5,000, 6,000 active wallets. So we're talking about a fairly small group of people at this point. Obviously, we're on a 30-year trajectory, but we're early. We're very early.
Yeah, we also need to plan all this framework out for when there is like 100,000 people. Will these systems still work properly?
It reminds me of something you brought up earlier that it slipped my mind because I'm a stoner. So, so like liquidators, like how you're talking about expanding and how this will all work. So like liquidators in the future, are we assuming that liquidators are cartridge-based invitees, or are we assuming that at some point the gates will be open? And it'll just be back to the public spewing in on us.
It's got to be limited to a certain extent. One, because the devs have to control their server resource expenditure and resource load, but also
how soon are we looking at licks?
It's got to be a while. It's got to be at least a couple months, end of the year, beginning of next year, I would think. We're still figuring out basic stuff. To have them come in and wreck stuff now would be kind of okay. Never mind. You're gonna drive a lot of people out this early. But from the beginning, they had said they were going to be credit type forms where it would be limited regardless before the cartridge thing came into play. So I think it still will be limited.
I think the play drop was a good, test run for liquidators basically, and I think the botting problem is pretty much the biggest issue, and either we need to control the inflow of people or the outflow of Alchemica. And so if we nerf the outflow of Alchemica, then people are going to have less incentive to play. So we need a balance, I think, of the two.
That's true.
Right. I mean, that's definitely part of the reason that we, started talking about spillover and district DAOs, is because it is kind of like that spillover was kind of there to make the game move in a circle, and then it became an issue, so we shut it off. But now it's kind of like, well, how do we slowly open the tap without having the same issues again?
Yeah, the challenge. I can tell you on that front, I'm glad I'm not a dev. I'm glad I'm not on the Pixelcraft team trying to make everybody happy, because they've got a challenge.
Well, the other thing too with the cartridge-based model, so like this makes it very manual process to onboard people, right?
With the
Will
cartridges,
people be able to manage your cartridges for you? Like, how do we? Yeah, like
there was one transfer in them, from what I remember, just kind of collecting from conversations, is you'd be able to transfer it once. I guess it would be programmed with two. One to transfer it to you, and one for you to transfer it to the ultimate end destination, and that's it. So if someone's managing them, I don't know how that would work. We still haven't determined how you get those credits either. Like how do you earn a cartridge? A lot of things have been floated out, but whatever we decide on as the determining
you're gonna
factor.
get a console, and the level 1 console will only give you one cartridge, and if you level up your console, then it starts to produce a cartridge. I don't remember if there was a rate for that. It might have been a cartridge a month, but that seems like a lot.
Is that an installation? Or would that just be like a Gotchi Pocket thing?
I think all Gotchi owners will be airdropped this thing.
One per Gotchi.
I don't know if they've decided that mechanism yet.
That's been a huge contention point that people
Right.
are, you know, if I hold a bunch of this, I'm upset if you're giving it to the other guy, back and forth. Some people are pretty upset on some sides, I guess.
Right. It was going to be like per wallet address, but then they were worried that people would just start dispersing their stuff to multiple wallets to game the console system. And then, so it kind of makes it easier to where if you just say, hey, you put some Alchemica in your console and it will start to produce more. And then, I don't know, I guess that's supposed to incentivize people not wanting multiple consoles.
Yeah, if it's going to cost you to get people in, you're not just going to invite a bunch of bots and pay Alchemica to get them in. That makes sense.
Yeah, so... But yeah, I guess like I was saying, that kind of is if we're letting liquidators in based on cartridge, that makes the whole situation even weirder, because basically if you manually onboarded the people who are about to go tear up your property...
Yeah.
Well, you could also form an army of liquidators and send them to your enemies.
Exactly. Yeah. You could play both sides of it here.
Who plays the liquidators is the question.
Anybody.
Because if it's just us and we already know where all the weak spots are and we know what we're doing in the Gotchiverse, liquidators just flips the switch for PvP.
Benedict Arnold, that's
just-
who.
Well, I've thought of the scenario, you know, the Great Portal has all that Alchemica in it, so there is like some incentive for even Gotchi owners to turn sides and go after it, right? But like,
That's
what's the like incentive to defend it? That's the other question. Is that what you can destroy your installations and there's still Alchemica there?
You get your scholars to protect your property while you control a liquidator to go.
That's one way to do it. I gotta believe there's gonna be a clear incentive either way. There's gonna be, like, yes, we may be able to play either side, but what is the advantage of saving the portal? Like, if we successfully, as Gotchis, save the Great Portal, protect the Alchemica that's inside, what does the Citadel get? Like, what does the Gotchiverse get out of that? Versus, if we fail, what do we lose? What do the liquidators get? What are the consequences of not securing that portal? Because it's going to happen 9 times. There's going to be both directions somewhere in those 9 times. What's the outcome of losing a liquidator battle? They're probably too busy. They haven't even started on that yet, which I can't blame
Wait,
them.
it's going to happen 9 times?
Yeah,
there's 9 great battles.
Oh.
That's what all the 9 rounds and resets are. This isn't just a once or a randomly thing. This is programmed 9 times.
I also want to see how Gotchis stand up to liquidators. You know, I think someone said the godlikes would be pretty good versus them, but
I would hope
how many liquidators is it going to take down one mega Gotchi or something?
I think part of that will have to be determined on how many liquidators will be available. Like,
That's
what
true.
is the potential supply of liquidators?
And whether or not they're bots.
Well, bots could be insanely good at PvP if they wanted to program them to be, you know. But we do have to hold these like gates, I guess. That's the main thing. Like you're gonna choke point and need a good wall of Gotchis.
I guess that makes sense. They're gonna get stronger with each round. Man, my foot is really itching. They're gonna, okay, I remember now. We were talking about that. For some reason, I thought it was just gonna be like a big battle at the end of the rounds, and that's when the grid would open. But so that's another part of this too. Is the grid gonna open before all 10 rounds have played out?
I would think so.
Or is that Act 2?
I thought originally the third land sale was supposed to include a portion of the grid. Like, we were supposed to have already had the grid.
I think it's just the rest of the Citadel.
Well, now it is. But at a certain point, we were supposed to have a third sale. It was like the portions have been scaled both times for first and second release, but the last land sale of the Citadel was supposed to also include a portion of the grid.
Yeah, I'm looking at the old white paper. It even said the second round pre-sale was supposed to have a...
Right. But then they had
Some
to push all
grid.
that off because we were focusing on too many other things.
Right.
So it can't be coming too far in the future. I would say we may see grid before end of year.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind waiting a little longer either. I think ironing
Yeah, I'm
out
not in a rush.
the details of like PvP probably needs, and sustainability of land and stuff like that needs to be like forefront, I guess.
Right.
I agree.
Like how do we
And
keep adding
all that.
value to Alchemica?
I think people are itching for an arena or a battle type mechanic as well.
That's gonna come this year. I'm pretty certain, because we need to we'll be basically doing the meta testing for the different types of stats and wearables, see what's actually way overpowered, needs nerfing, and see what's underpowered.
I think the sprinting is their attempt at starting that. I think they're just now getting into tweaking character and gameplay variables, and they're like, let's turn one on and see what happens. Here's your sprinting. I love it.
I like it. One little feature at a time. Just click this on, click that on.
I would rather them take their time and just get it. If they need more time, take your time. I'm not in a rush.
Speaking of that, so Coder Dan released a site called docs.gotchiverse.io, and in the roadmap on that, we saw alchemical altars, alchemical channeling, that's complete, farming release, final testing. They haven't updated that, but that's complete. Next thing under development, traits and arena release. So that's some alpha right there.
It sure is.
After that would be the SDK, and then estates, and then lodge, guild channeling. I'm not sure if it's going to come in that order. Then after Gotchi, lodge, and guild channeling, it says grid expansion, and other individual features. I can link that here.
There you go.
Oh, I'm looking at it too, but that's a good idea.
I actually haven't. I've been in it, but I haven't dug deep enough.
Same, yeah. I went through looking for stuff that I was looking for, but I never read it yet.
Well, this is what is causing the movement in wearables. I mean, I saw this a week ago, and I was like, well, all the good wearable effect stuff is going to start getting scooped. And past 2 days, you've seen it.
Totally.
Yeah, people are definitely pivoting parcels to wearables.
I think movement speed is getting a lot of love.
Yep. I hoped to kind of avoid most of the movement speed, because I had approached the game more from a farming perspective than a PvP. I do want to get into the RPG stuff, but I was never on PvP servers in WoW either, so I'd rather just enjoy the environment and the gameplay versus try to be better than somebody. I'm not very competitive. I'm here to play around, not chat and get sweaty.
But I would argue versus you that it is both. It's actually maybe even more so a farming tool, because you're getting Alchemica faster and running back faster.
I suppose, yeah, if you're kind of collecting around your spot. In my mind, it was more of I was going to have to go to a parcel, get my Alchemica, and then walk all the way to another parcel, which I ain't got time for that. My shit's all over the place. So my strategy was just hoping to teleport between parcels. Get what I need.
I mean, that's completely valid for your situation, yeah.
I'm way under geared on wearables, so I'm hoping those little strategies that I picked up early work out, because if they don't, I am running around naked and vulnerable. I've got 2 naked gotchis and 2 common.
Well, that's why, I mean, my main gotchi, my first gotchi, is -3 aggression right now. So I'm like, well, what is that going to play like?
Yeah, where's our stats? I saw that was posted in the GMI server earlier today. Or was that a side convo? It must have been, it was a side combo. So, what was yours? Low, super low aggression?
Yeah. It was -1
Yeah, you'll have higher
naturally.
defense. You'll have higher defense power instead of high action speed.
But does that mean I'm going to be super slow action speed?
Yes.
Yeah, I envision action speed as DPS, I guess, using special abilities or something.
Cooldown timers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably going to be cooldown, because then there's the regen.
But if we start having dungeons and stuff like that, a high defense gotcha would be a good tank, so it might be
for sure
worthwhile.
What else you got on that, Gotchi? Low aggression. What else?
I think everything
to
is
do this
pretty
somehow.
high except for like the aggression and spookiness are pretty like 60 something in that range. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
So if you're Aaron, or if you're leaning towards the higher end of the scales, you're going to be high AP capacity, so high action point capacity, high defense power,
So
high
this is what we
ethereality,
got. Let's see.
and ranged.
64 energy, -3 aggression, 62 spooky, 92 brain.
So that's a ranged tank, little rangy, little tanky, little extra luck, pretty balanced HP and AP. Seems like a legit Gotchi to me.
And then Zombagotchi is 90 energy, 78 aggression, 51 spooky, 80 brain.
That's
Okay,
a
so you're
DPS
leaning
ranger.
towards- Yeah, yep. Ooh, I like that one. That's what I usually play.
That's my favorite class, really. I just
Yeah.
finally found a good gotcha with high AP, high action speed. It's only got a little bit of spookiness. It's pretty much in the middle, and then high range power.
Yeah, 51
I am wondering.
spooky.
I'm wondering which will be better. I mean, I know they'll each have their use case, but I like HP and AP regen a lot. I think it's going to be really good. I wonder if other reality is going to be stronger though. So I lean towards HP and AP regen. But I mean, if you could dodge a lot of attacks, then that might actually win you some fights.
Yeah, because someone's going to be spending their action points to swing at you and miss.
Yep.
And you can swoop out and smack them.
I think that's going to be one of the big balancing acts we see because, like, this isn't going to come out perfect. There's going to be complaints and
Naturally,
really
someone's
LP
gonna
stuff.
Be upset. Yep. But again, we're early and we've got time to balance. That's why we've got a strong community and a DAO and a very active, responsive shipping team from Pixelcraft. I think what we've got, we're capable of changing whatever we need to change for the good early. I know we're bickering about a bunch of stuff, but it's good that we get this out of the way before everybody's in and everyone gets, rugged out of the other half of whatever the argument is. I think we're going to be fine.
It's also going to get even deeper with the wearable effects. Like, what if someone has the full tracksuit on and just is a heavy range gotcha that shoot you, run away, or you try to run away, but you can't.
F5, pick a different parcel.
Basically.
Did we have a third topic? We kind of trailed
but you
off.
just kind of opened one up there. Like, all right, so we already talked about like wearable problems because of wearable guilds. Like, you're gonna have guilds that like buy up all of a common wearable, as many as they can, so that they can sell it back to their members, or just to raise the floor price in general, sweep the floor on a wearable. But it's a good strategy also to think about like buying all of a certain wearable to make sure other people don't have your traits. Like, you can really like nerf towards your direction by scooping up a bunch of things from the market and just being like, yeah, like,
just so other people don't have them. That's savage. It's a strategy, though. I mean,
you put them back on the market.
There are ways to do it.
You dangle it up here where they're like, you really want it?
There's 2 available. Yeah. Shoot. Hey, that's a play. It's gonna get interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually... So going back to district DAOs and the spillover thing, and tying it into wearables, with the glitter leaderboard that could potentially be the way that you get the wearable crests. I wonder if that would be like, building these street lamps and transportation or whatever in-game things we build out as district DAOs, burning glitter to make those things faster, because otherwise it might, I mean, if you think about it, like, if we want to build out a whole district-wide installation, well, it's not going to be a 12-hour installation. That's going to be like, well, you can get it in 30
Months.
days, or you can burn
Yeah.
a bunch of glitter as a district. And then since there's no spillover of glitter, it would actually be up to each district DAO to put that glitter in at this point.
Glitter's a strange mechanic. That one, we're gonna see a roller coaster with glitter.
For sure.
Yeah, did you guys catch the guild communal channeling? You could reduce the cooldown on doing that. Instead of every 1 week, you could use glitter to speed that up. Wonder how much that'll cost.
That, yeah. Oh, it'll probably cost real time, huh? Just if you want to shorten
Well, yeah, I
the
guess
week.
it's already written. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, glitter is 2 blocks. Or, I mean, 2 seconds, 1 block.
I've heard estimates from 2 to 2.3 seconds, and I noticed that the docs.gotchiverse said 2.1 was what they were using for their math.
Yeah, it's like 2.1, 2.2 on Polygon, I think.
The idea of this tokenized time thing, I'm still... Like, every time I start trying to unravel it, my mind goes in 12 different directions of this. This is interesting.
You
But
can
then
actually
layer
see on
all the
Polygon
use
scan.
cases. The timing?
It says 2.1 per block.
Nice. There we go.
Yep. You can watch each block leave the station.
What is that site that has the Ethereum and the Bitcoin? Like, it's like a train station thing.
Oh, the bus. Yeah,
Do you
I
know
don't
what I mean?
remember.
What
Yeah,
is that?
do
I
know what
love
you're
that.
talking about.
Sit there and watch it. You're visualizing the blocks fill up with transactions, and then once it's full, zoom, off it goes.
So there's 288,000 blocks in a week.
Yeah, it's like
Wow.
35-ish, 37-ish thousand per day, I think, is what I calculated.
1.1 million, 1.15 million in a month, 28 days.
So I'm sitting on about a month of glitter, a month of Polygon time.
So a little under 14 mil per year. That's interesting.
All right. So, did we have anything else? We are getting close to time. We have about 7 minutes left.
Oh yeah, coming up fast. Do we have we heard anything about Gotchica? I heard the like last call cutoff was done, but
I know Hefe's working on it. We don't have a date, but Hefe's working on it. I am meeting with him tomorrow to learn the process. So
I'm interested in that too if it works for me.
For sure.
I'm excited because I mean I've got some. I did this last weekend. I have my wonderful.
You got to get us some close-ups. We can barely see
my
it.
collection. I will. I'll do it at a different time once it's all.
I made it
all
big
set up
screen.
too.
It'll look good in the video, or anybody who zooms in.
All right, cool.
Should be able to see if they make.
I don't have any
picture
colors up. You know, mostly just sunlight here, but I've got I think all of the pieces that I've collected so far printed on canvas up on the wall, and I'm missing a few. I've got spots over here where I need Gotchica goes here, and I need Raffles up here, and I'm gonna change this. This was my PFP. This was a Rigo ASP.
You got a lot of
Aavegotchi
Rigos, man. That's awesome.
I got 13 of the self-portraits. I couldn't stop. I could have gone more, and I ran out of money. I couldn't stop looking at I spent days digging through that gallery going, oh, I see cool stuff in here. Oh, I see cool stuff in here. And I just kept buying them. I love them. So anyway, I ended up picking the Liquidator one as a PFP, and I used it, and I like it, and I'm definitely going to go back to it. But this 8x8 up top, I'm going to switch to a 12x12. And I guess I'll say it here. Why not? My strategy is one of every raffle. Raffle's going to be tricky, but I want all of them. So I left space for all of them just in case.
Awesome.
I like them, and we're helping Goob, so it's a good cause.
Nice. Yeah, looking good, man.
Thanks. I'm happy about it. I love coming into the room now instead of a big white wall. It's like, oh, I like this place. More to come. I'm excited. And once I get it all filled up, I'll do a little show and tell.
Awesome.
Do you guys think these NFT displays will be like on the parcel and in a lodge, like that you could walk into?
Well, so yeah, I think there's gonna be both. Did we just lose? So yeah, I think it is gonna be both because the NFT display is an external, like you should be able to see it from roadside type thing, and then the inside the lodge, you're actually going to be able to have more decorations and craftable furniture as well as NFT displays that are on the wall and stuff like that. But my main question is with these NFT displays is like in the lodge or on the roadside, will you be able to purchase NFTs from the display, or will it link you out, or will you be able to purchase NFTs in game? That would be cool.
I suspect, well, it's going to be one of either two ways, obviously. It'll be more like the Decentraland model where everything's kind of a clickable link or, but I suspect it'll be more of just a flex display. And in order to interact with a contract to potentially buy it, that's where the dApps, that's where the NFT dApps will come into play.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. That's true. But with bizarre NFTs, for instance, like you should be able to buy those in game, right? Because they're Aavegotchi approved NFTs. They're not external.
Yeah, but probably through the bazaar. I don't think you could buy them through a display. You could buy them through the bazaar and display them in the display, I would think.
Right. So it'll be a link out to the bazaar. Yeah, probably.
We'll see.
At least at first it would be that way, because like you said, that is how Decentraland does it. So I'm sure they would do it more in game if they could, because nobody likes people clicking away.
Right, and that's more they'd have to filter. If they're already going to be filtering what shows up on the NFT displays, now they have to also filter the link that it's sending people out to, and I think they'd probably not do that.
Right.
That's my gut.
I mean, I know. So I guess this can also be our closing discussion. Like, I know I want to be able to sell my Aavegotchi NFTs in the Gotchiverse, and I know a lot of our artists, No Futuristic, other musicians.
That's your target demographic.
Yeah, and then like I know other artists are going to want to be able to do that, and especially because if you're eventually going to be able to hang them up on the wall in your lodge, then it would be great to be able to display your art on the side of the road. Somebody comes by and scoops it up, brings it back to their nice lodge, and puts it up on the wall.
For sure. Lodges are going to be fun. I'm looking forward to those too.
Totally.
Yeah, they're going to be cozy.
And that's kind of the long-term play too. Like, I mean, you can fit one on a reasonable, even with a decent-sized farm.
Yeah.
But, you long-term, like as you start to break your farm down, throwing up a lodge and just more like decorations and really like, being able to flex hard on it, even on a smaller reasonable.
It's gonna get intense. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, the artist summit. That's what I was going to bring up. We need to start putting out the all call for our artists.
If you're interested in participating, interested in presenting, if there's any way that you'd like to be involved that we just haven't mentioned or haven't put on your radar, like,
we need to get a tweet out through GMI. I'll do a tweet as well. Yeah, we need. I mean, I could start tagging people in the server too, but I don't want to get the slap. Discord likes to slap my hand when I tag too many people. It's like, you stop that.
I just got a slap for something. I don't know what happened, but I got rugged. It just rebooted my Discord.
I saw that. What was that about?
I was ready to jump in on an answer, and I was excited about the question. Discord's like, hold my beer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dump me
So,
the street.
what were you gonna say about that? He was asking about NFT displays in and out the lodge, and I basically said it's gonna be both.
It has to be. For sure, it will be on the parcel. And I got to imagine once lodges are released and we're decorating inside lodges, they're gonna for sure be inside lodges as well.
Yeah.
I'll bet you all that will be limited based on like lodge level, how many rooms or how many walls or how much
Totally.
space you have inside. There may even be, as a benefit of having a lodge, places where you can put up pictures, like without even having to buy them or whatever. It might just be part of the lodge.
Yeah.
But the
Each
NFT
level of the lodge is gonna have
displays
different
definitely be
features.
installations.
Yeah.
So you guys led me to a good thought, and I've had this thought before, but I don't know if you guys ever played RuneScape and saw the player-owned houses, but
No.
they had a skill in the game called construction, where you could build cool stuff. Like you could build a boxing ring, you could build a dungeon, you could build like nice teak furniture and stuff, gilded furniture. So I could see that being like a huge Alchemica sink later, like furniture.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
What would you guys like to see the most in a Gotchi Lodge?
So I've brought this up a few times and kind of confirmed that something like this will be down the road, but I like the idea of like the breakout rooms being able to, like, if you're sitting at
Yes.
a table, only the people at the table can hear each other, and stages and podiums and all that type of stuff, but different permissions for how people can speak in the room. That is like, that's what excites me most about lodges. So of course you're gonna have to probably craft those breakout rooms. Like you'd probably have to craft the table and 4 chairs that people can sit at or whatever. You know, like your room installations.
If I can use the Gotchiverse instead of Discord, probably gonna.
100% GMI Friday night meetings in the lodge.
In the lodge.
Be there.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
All right. Well, we are at our closing. Does anybody have any closing thoughts, friends? I guess I'll see y'all at D420 Friday. I'll get this
There we go.
uploaded on YouTube soon, and see you in the Gotchiverse. Peace.
See everybody.